Last week I introduced 6 games players may want to migrate to if they want to escape D&D's AI future. This week I've invited some friends to drop by and share some of their favorite games for folks to check out. This is the Great D&D Escape, Part 2. Let's roll it.
So on the question of what game to play to avoid the AI future of RPGs, I think the answer is any game that sparks your imagination. That way you don't need a computer to think for you. Now, tons of RPGs do this fantastically well through random tables. And heck, tables are kind of more fun than AI because you get to roll dice. And one of my favorite examples of an RPG that does this really well is Dungeon Crawl Classics. You can randomly create fun characters in minutes, randomize your own dungeons, demons, and other monsters, and do the same for magic swords and scrolls, even randomly choosing your character's magic spells for wizards and clerics who, famously in DCC, use random tables to determine the effects of every spell in the game world. And of course, you already know how to play this game. It's 1d20, roll high, add a modifier to meet or beat a difficulty number. All that said, DCC does not have random tables for encounters, loot, or creating places to explore, so I made my own little zine for that, Scrim, available now on DriveThruRPG, but there are plenty of other fun RPGs out there that include even more inspirational material.
Hello there. I'm Martin from Daddy Roll the One, and I'm here to talk about Old School Essentials, or OSE, which is a modern representation of the 1981 BX rules, the set I started with back in late 1981, which for me, there's a big dose of nostalgia here, of course. But even if you didn't grow up with BX, OSE has a lot to offer. So since that's where my role-playing career or journey began, it does feel like coming home, but there's more to Old School Essentials than just nostalgia. It's a system that's lean, it's easy to learn, and it's very quick to get into. The presentation is the gold standard for rulebook design. So everything in here is presented on a single page or on a 2-page spread. So something like a character class, like the cleric, is on a 2-page spread. Everything that you need is right there. Combat rules, 2-page spread. That means there's no flipping back and forth. That means it's very quick to play at the table. It's clean, it's concise, it's in a bullet point format, and it's easy to reference right at the table. OSE also embraces sort of an old school philosophy that you may have heard of before, known as rulings, not rules. What this means is that if something comes up at the table that's not addressed in the book, the DM has the flexibility to just make a ruling and keep the game moving. Later, you can always check and see if there was a rule that you didn't remember, but chances are it's not really going to affect anything. It really keeps things fast, it keeps it light, and the table focused during the play. It also means that the DM has the flexibility to create a ruling that is specific and relevant for his or her group of players at the table.
I didn't put this one on last week's list, but I felt it needed to be mentioned. Basic Fantasy RPG is a return to an older style of play that's familiar to anyone from the Moldvay-Cook era of basic D&D. The layout feels familiar, the character classes and races are limited to the same 4 of each from that era, and the saving throws? They are tables all their own. But it's got some things 5e players will find familiar as well, such as Ascending Armor class, so it's not all alien to more recent players. Now, I will say that Basic Fantasy RPG does lean heavy on things like weight-based encumbrance, as well as ammo and ration tracking, which are not things a lot of players nowadays like or enjoy. So if that's the case, why am I recommending it? Well, in a word, it's free. And I mean free as in free. The entire project, minus the artwork, which is licensed to the game's creator, Chris Gonnerman, is open source. You can download the actual word processing file that the game uses and create your own version of the game for your table. You can even sell it if you want, if you adhere to the Creative Commons license requirements. The PDFs, as is, can be downloaded for free. And the books, as is, are sold as near to cost as possible. So buy-in is low.
Right, I'm going to get right down to brass tacks and tell you why you should give Land of Eam a second look. If you're looking to pull away from all this AI slop that permeates the space now, this is a game chock full of original art and concepts in all 3 of its beautiful and robust books. This is a really different, unique game that the sum of all pieces create a mechanically very fun and interesting game to run at the table. The game itself features a D12 system that is less swingy than your D20 alternatives out there, and it has some resolution mechanics very similar to games like Powered by the Apocalypse, where you can succeed with a twist or fail with a plus. Plus, Land of Eam really leans into this idea of discovery, and it has lots of robust yet simplified mechanics for things like travel. Not to mention a ton of stuff on crafting. We all love our crafting games, right? But the other thing Land of Eam does not lack is a rich world and setting full of tons of things to discover that will surprise your players and keep you wanting more. I mean, I could talk for days about the interesting places in the Mucklands and all the characters you'll find within. Not to mention, I got this awesome map that is really huge and fun to put on your table and get your players excited about discovering more within the Land of Eam. Plus, it's got a cadre of clever classes with unique twists on them and tons of folk options to choose from and customize with, packed with narrative things and quirks and perks that make roleplay really fun.
Hey everybody, Dan from Avenue Studios, and if you are looking for a new tabletop role-playing game, I would like to recommend Open Legend RPG. This open source system is entirely free and available on openlegendrpg.com. Yes, the entire core rulebook is free on their website and you can start playing today. However, if you are able to pick up the book, I highly recommend it. Not only is the art gorgeous, and there's nothing better than having an actual physical book to read, as far as core rulebooks go, this thing is not intimidating at all. You'll get through it in no time, and having this at your table is a great resource, which, speaking of resources, they do have a campaign setting as well for Open Legend, Amoria's Dawn. This is a combination of steampunk and high fantasy, and it's got NPCs, plot hooks, environments, all that good stuff, either to inspire you or to run directly from this book at your tables. Which leads me into my favorite aspect of Open Legend, which is it is setting agnostic. If you want to run steampunk, you want to run high fantasy, cyberpunk, sci-fi, mix them all together into one crazy world, the system allows you to do that without adding any homebrew, additional mechanics, or feeling like you're breaking the system just to tell the story you want to tell. And for Dice Goblins, the combination of the stacking disadvantage and advantage system, as well as exploding dice, means you are rolling all the shiny math rocks all the time. Every time you hit that max number, you get to roll again. It is a satisfying way to play dice games. And as we say over here at Avenue Studios, sit down with your nerdy friends and use silly voices and exploding dice to tell a good story. Have fun.
Are you tired of flipping through a rulebook and reading over 3,000 spell descriptions only to find they're poorly explained and cause more confusion than clarity? Or how about those times when you rolled a nat 20 on your attack only to follow it up by rolling minimal damage, meaning you might as well not have crit in the first place? I'm not saying D&D is like that, but hey, if you're tired of playing D&D, have I got a suggestion for you. There's this little 6-sided gem called Tricube Tales where all you roll is 1, 2, or 3d6. Things are kept incredibly simple while remaining flexible enough to make gameplay interesting and roleplay entertaining. And if I couldn't sell you on that and the fact that it's entirely human-made from front to back, or that the author has made a bazillion one-page adventures for it, how about the fact that each of those adventures and the book itself is totally free? Heck, I got one more for you. There's even Tricube Tactics you can pick up if you want more crunch for combat. And with that, I have hit my word limit. Like and subscribe!
To my friends who made this video possible, thank you so much. You are all amazing, and I'm psyched that I got to collaborate with all of you. Folks, go check out their channels and spread the love around because they are amazing. Scrat, I'm sorry we ran out of time for your interview. We will get to it soon. Thanks also to everyone who has ever done the like, comment, share, and subscribe routine for any of the videos on this channel. And if you consider doing that for this video, I'd be most grateful. It really helps the channel. Also, shout out to all my coffee contributors who support this channel out of the kindness of their own hearts. If you'd like to help caffeinate DM Tales, the link is right over there. Coming up, I've got my Ironbound review underway. After that is Star Trek Adventures, and then I guess I'll need to dig into Daggerheart. Also, on October 6th, we'll be live streaming an actual play of Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program, with the program's co-writer Craig Schaefer serving as our guest head of light entertainment. The fun will begin at 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.